I'm going to start with some CARs. Now, CARs stands for Controlled Articulate Rotations. So we do CARs for any part of any of our joints. And the idea of CARs is to move our joints in their entire rotation at their full range. Now, the importance of doing this and the benefits of doing this is to ensure that we don't lose any movement within our joints or any range of motion within our joints. So, for example, we want to be able to move our shoulder in its full range. If we stop doing that over a long period of time, if we stop doing that within our daily movements, then we inevitably lose the ability to be able to do that movement. So that's why it's super important to be doing these rotations every single day. And once you kind of get an idea of how they work, then you can bang it out in say 10, 15 minutes. Like, it's not a long thing that needs to take a loads amount of time every day. Also, another benefit of CARs is once we start moving our joints the way that they should be moved and allowing that movement back into those joints, then we prevent injuries, because if a certain thing isn't moving the way it should, then it often compensates that movement from somewhere else in the body, and then that's when we can sometimes get injured. So as long as each joint is moving the way that it should, then we can prevent injury from happening. So let's get started. I'm just going to pin this video, and we're going to start with all our major joints. So starting with our neck, and what I want you to think about. So I like to sit down on my knees, but if you can't comfortably sit in that position, then you can sit up on your knees. You can also do the seated as well. If you have a chair, you can always sit down on a chair too. So it doesn't really matter, whatever's comfortable for you. And we're just going to imagine that our chin is a pen, and we're going to be drawing the biggest circle we can with our chin. So first we drop our head down to our chest. Then we look over to our left shoulder as far around as we can, drop the head back, look over to our right shoulder, and then come back to the center. And we go around again. Now, with these rotations, you want to think about going nice and slow. You definitely can't go too slow with these rotations, but you can definitely go too fast. So you want to keep a nice, slow, controlled movement. And again, thinking about drawing that circle with the chin, not the top of your head. So if we were to draw it with the top of our head, it would look more like this. We're not getting that full rotation. We want to make sure we're drawing it with our chin. So we'll do a few more reps in this direction. Good. And then we just reverse it the exact same, going the opposite way. So now you're looking over the opposite shoulder as far back as you can. Drop the head back, come all the way around again and back to the center. Now, if you feel like you've got any closing angle pain, so when you're in that closing angle and there's any pain there, try not to push through that pain. Just kind of relax out of it, move kind of to the next section, and then continue the circle. You'll notice over time, though, once you keep doing these more often, the pain should ease. It's probably just because it's not familiar. Good, we'll just do a few more reps this way. And you just want to have all the tension leave your body as well. So nice and relaxed. Let's do one more. Good. And back. Good. So that's the neck. We're going to move on now to our shoulders. Now, a lot of the time, we aren't moving our shoulders in their full rotation. So I will just briefly explain to you how we do that. So you want to start with having your thumb pointing forwards, and you want to think about not rotating at all through your spine. So you can again sit up tall if you need to, and all we're doing is we're bringing that hand up towards our ear. you bring it as far back as you can until you feel that locking in the shoulder. So just to that point, you don't want to then keep rotating, see how my spine is now turning. We just want to come to this point. Then we turn our hand away so that internally rotates the shoulder. And we continue rotating all the way around until our thumb is pointing behind us. So that's the full rotation that we want to do. So again, thumb is pointing forward. Try this time. Hand comes up as far back until we feel that locking in the shoulder. Then we turn our hand outwards, so internally rotating the shoulder. Keep rotating all the way around until your thumb is pointing behind you. And again, up. Good, and really think about trying to keep your chest forward so we're not rotating it all through the spine. Sitting up, nice and tall. Try get as much rotation as you can. I sometimes like to hold a hard ball in my hand, and it just helps generate a bit more force through the joint. Good, and let's do one more in this direction. Good, we're just going to go back the other way now. So you start with your thumb pointing back. You then push behind as far as you can. Once you can't push any further, so we don't want to be coming down here, chest stays nice and high. So once we can't push any further, we then rotate around the opposite way and come back around so that our thumb is now pointing forward. To reset, you just turn your thumb away again, come behind, up and over. Good, and again. Good, let's do a couple more reps on the side. Good, and last one. Really try push and back around. Good, let's do the same on the other side now. Shake it out if you need. You might feel a bit of clicking or cracking through your shoulders. Don't worry too much about that. It's just, like I said before, something that you're probably not used to, get the position you're not getting used to, but over time, once you keep repeating these on a daily basis, then that pain or that clicking should go away. So let's do it on the other side. So thumb is pointing forward, up, turn that hand away, keep rotating all the way around until that thumb's behind, reset, go again. Good, and again. Again, keeping this nice and slow. We don't want to race through any of this. You're going to be pushing in each direction as far as you can. And this is a really good assessment tool as well to see kind of where you're at with your mobility and see what needs improvement, see where there's pain as well. And over time, if you're continuously doing these every day, and you can kind of predict when you may feel like something is going to get injured, basically, if you're feeling that pain within these movements. So it's something that you know that you need to work on to improve. Going back the other way now, thumb comes behind, push back, and around. Good. Good, and with these as well, you want to think about nasal breathing. So in and out through your nose as much as you can. We want to try to get into a nice relaxed state. Tell our nervous system that these positions are safe and that it's okay to get into these positions even though we may not be used to it. So we do that by relaxing our nervous system, breathing deeply in and out through our nose into our diaphragm. Let's go once more. Good. Good. So that's our shoulders. We're going to move now onto our spine. Now, we're going to start this one on our hands and knees. And what I want you to think about, we're going to try and individually move each part of our vertebrae, so our 33 vertebrae, each one at a time. So Normal cat-cow, we move together up and down like so. With this one, I want you to imagine each part of your spine is moving one at a time. So initiating the movement from your hip, nice and slow, we start to come down, lower part of your back, upper part of your back, drops down, head comes up. In reverse, again from the pelvis, we tuck under, lower part of your back, nice and slow. Imagine one by one, it's moving. And we push away. And then we go back again. Join in, nice and slow and controlled as you can. It's super important that we start to try and move our spine in segmented parts. So each part should be working by itself and moving by itself, because when we stop moving our spine like this, it starts to fuse together. And then that's when one part of your back will overcompensate for another part. So say your lower back is fused from sitting down too much, then your upper back has to do more work in order to move, or in order to rotate or to bend. So then that's when you can get injured through your back. You can get lower back pain because it's not moving how it should be moving, one segment at a time or individually. So really try focus now on trying to get it moving by itself. Now I know if you haven't done this before, it can be quite hard to connect back into your body, back into your spine. But just think about that, what you're trying to do. If you're really struggling, especially with your lower back, to get that moving, what you can do is you can lock your head down. So this prevents any movement from your upper back. And you can just start by trying to move your lower back by itself. So if you want to try this now, lock your head in and just try and move the spine, just the lower back. So you're dropping your belly button down to the floor, and then you're pushing it out towards the ceiling. Now, it's not going to move too much. Our spine doesn't move. Each segment kind of only moves a little tiny bit by itself. But we want to try and get that movement going, try and feel that movement. Good. Another really good way to get this moving again as well is to put a resistance band around your spine. And if you put it on your lower back and then you push into it, that's when you can feel that feedback and you can know where you're trying to push into your spine as well. If you are struggling to get your upper back moving, then what you can do is sit down. I'm going to sit down. Yeah, Barry, so you can chuck it around. Yeah. And then hold it on your hand. Yeah. And then kind of get into that position and just feel it pull you down, and then try to push it away. Yeah, that's good. Good. And you can do that all the way up your spine as well. So you can put it on every part and just try and feel that movement and try to push away each time. Another way to get your upper back moving as well, if you're struggling with that, you can sit down in this position. If this is really hard to get into, then you can just do it seated on a chair, and you can fold over yourself if you're seated on a chair. But what you want to do is you want to tuck your head down so that you feel you got that arch, and then just lift your head slightly, keep your chin down, and then just lift away from the floor. Keep your hands super light on the floor and just hold yourself up. Notice how my head isn't coming up. My head stays down, so my chin is down, and I just hold that for a few seconds or two. You should really feel that squeezing through the upper part of your back, and then just relax down again. And then again, come up just to here, nice and light fingertips on the ground so you're not pushing yourself away. And then come back down. Yeah, so just, that's it, come up slightly. Try keeping your chin down a little bit more so you're facing down towards the floor, and you're just holding yourself up through that upper part of your back. And you only want to lift off until just the bottom of your ribs comes off your legs. So just that part lifting up and coming back down and lift up and back down. Yeah, so that's a way that we eliminate our lower back from moving, and we're just now trying to get our upper back moving, our thoracic. So let's just do a few more reps here. Good. Good. Alrighty. So that's just some segmentation of the spine. We're just going to finish with our rotations of the spine as well. So again, crossing our hands over our chest. If you want to come up onto your knees, you can. I like to do this one seated on my heels just because it eliminates any movement of my hips. And we're just going to round our shoulders forward. So sitting up nice and tall, imagine a wall is in front of you and you're just rounding. You don't want to hit that wall. So just nice forward bend here. Rotate round to the left. Drop your left shoulder down. Rotate back. And around the other way. Good. And you repeat that on the other side. So come forward again. Turn to the left. Laterally flex. So drop that shoulder down. Come into extension. Back round. And back to the center. Good. Let's do a few more here. Extension is really important position to get into because we spend a lot of our time in forward flexion. So it's important that we counterbalance that with some extensions as well. Try and keep your head down. So when you come into extension, don't drop your head back. Keep your chin down in your chest and rotate round. Good. Keep that chin down. Good stuff. Good. Let's go back the other way now. So round those shoulders forward. Rotate round to the right. Laterally flex. So drop that shoulder down. Come round into extension. And then come back round. Good. Let's do a few more in this direction. This one should hopefully feel really good on your spine. Let's do one more. Good. And relax it there. Have a quick sip of water if you need it. Let me know if you have any questions. You're good. Great. We're going to move on to our hips now. And I'm going to do this one lying down today because I know it can sometimes be a bit struggle doing it on your hands and knees. So let's see how we go with it on our sides. So what I want you to do is lie down on your side and I want you to interlock your fingers and we're going to drive our hands down into the floor. So this prevents any movement from our torso. So we want to keep driving down and we want to eliminate any twisting through here. Movement is only coming from our hip. So what you want to do, you can put something under your head if you need it for balance, otherwise just rest your head on the ground. It is quite good to have kind of a yoga block or something there just to keep your neck in line with your spine as well. So drive your hands down. We're going to bring that knee into our chest. Then we're going to lift it up, open up our hip out to the side. Now I want you to think about keeping your knee and your foot nice and high and turn that foot in until you end up extending behind and coming back. Does that make sense? So keep your weight forward. So when you turn, you don't want to be coming back this way. That's why we're driving our hands down into the ground. I'll talk you through that one again. It can be a bit difficult. So bring your knee in, externally rotate. So turn your hip outwards. Then you want to think about turning your knee inwards in that way. So you're internally rotating the hip and then bringing it around behind. So I'm just using my hand just to kind of explain better, but you want to keep driving your hands down into the floor. So knee comes up, externally rotate, then see my knee, it internally rotates. So I'm turning inwards as I continue to turn back, behind, and back. Does that make sense? Or is he confused? So good? Okay. So in, externally rotate, internally rotate behind, so you come into extension and come back. Let's do a few more circles here. Keep that knee and that foot nice and high. Good. Let's do one more in this direction. So up, and then turn that knee inwards. So you're internally rotating the hip and coming back. Now to do that in reverse, we push back behind, so pushing your foot back, and then we rotate it back around. Keep traveling that knee nice and high in towards your chest before you bring it back down. Yeah, that's it. So push back and then rotate it. Keep the knee and the foot nice and high. Bring it back in and back. Good. Keep driving those hands down into the ground. That's it. Good. And one more. Good. Alrighty, let's change sides. Hopefully that's clear for you guys. Lying down on our opposite side now, driving the hands down into the floor. We just repeat that, so bringing that knee into our chest. Externally rotate, so turn your knee up and out, then rotate inward, so turn your knee in, come back into extension, bring that knee back into a line. And again. That's it. Good. Try keep that leg bent, Barry. So as you come round, keep it bent, even in extension. Yep. And then just bring it back through. Good. Good. Keep going. And one more in this direction. Good. Push back now, back the other way into extension and come around. Keep that knee nice and high, back and towards your chest and back down. Good. That's it. Good, so rotating our hips is super important. It's one of their main functions, but we don't do it often enough. We often only get into flexion, sitting down all day, driving in the car. So it's really important that we rotate our hips as well to keep them healthy. Good, alrighty. Rest there. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. The last one we're going to do is our ankles. We can't forget those ones. They're super important to keep rotating. So with this one, we're going to straighten one leg. We're going to take our other leg that we're working, bend the knee, take the arm, lock it under that knee, take the other hand, hold the knee in place, and then your free hand just hold your arm. And we're just going to imagine drawing the biggest circle we can with our toes. Nice big circle all the way around, as big as you can. We're holding this leg in place because we don't want to move the lower leg at all. You want to hold that in place so it's just the ankle moving. Nice big circles around. Good, and it's really good to be moving your ankles like this as well, because you're telling yourself that these positions are safe and that they're normal. And then often I've known people, obviously, that have done this for long periods of time, and then they roll their ankle and they don't get any injury because their ankle is already used to being moved like this. Whereas if you're not moving your ankles like this on a regular basis, and then you trip and you roll your ankle, it can often be a lot worse injury than somebody who does do this frequently. So that's another benefit. It prevents injury. And this is a really easy one to just do when you're watching TV as well. You sit on the floor and just even sit on the couch and do it. We're going to change directions if you haven't already. Sorry, I should have said. Big circles. And if you feel like any part of that you don't have much control over, really focus on that and try and gain as much flow and control as you can. Good. Let's change sides now. So I've taken a bit longer to go through these cards today, and I didn't really get onto the second part of the mobility stuff, but I hope that you guys find this useful and beneficial, and I hope that I can kind of explain enough the benefits that encourage you to want to start adding this into a daily practice. And you don't have to take this much time every day to do it. You could choose, like, say, 3 joints for one day and then another 3 and another 3 for other days. Just so long as you're trying to implement this as a daily routine, you'll really start to see the benefits, I'm sure of it. Good. Alrighty, we'll finish with a little bit of hip flexion, just because it's not a position that we often get into. Sorry, not hip flexion, hip extension, because we often spend our time in hip flexion. So that's when we're seated, have our leg kind of in line 90 degrees all the time. So we want to now extend it the other way, the opposite direction. So what I want you to do is come up on one knee, and I want you to imagine your hips are like a bucket of water, and you want to try tip the water out the back of the bucket. So the back of your hips, you want to try tip the water out the back. So that already, you should start to feel a stretch through your hip flexor here, already in that position. Then what I want you to do is create tension through your body. So you can either do that through holding fists, you can hold your hands together. I want you to create as much tension as you can. So through your core, through your entire body. I want you to drive your left or your back foot down into the floor. So driving down, nice and hard. And all we're going to do is we're going to lean into it a bit more, driving down for 3 to 5 second hold. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just relax and come out of it. So you should really feel that stretch here. Make sure you're driving down super hard into the ground and you're creating that tension throughout your entire body. So we're going to do that, start building up that tension, drive that back foot down into the ground, start to travel forward. Travel forward as far as you can, push down super hard. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then relax out of it. Lose that tension. We're going to go again. Start to build that tension up. Drive that back foot down into the ground. Tuck your pelvis. Push down super hard and then start to drive forward. Push forward as far as you can until you feel like you can't go any further. Keep holding. Push down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to do one more on this side. You should really feel that stretching now through your hip flexor. Drive that back leg down into the ground one more time. Create that tension through your whole body. Start to drive forward. Push down. Nice and hard. Stay strong. Keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Whew. Good. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So other leg is forward now. Again, imagine that bucket of water. So you're going to tip the water out the back of your bucket. So already you should feel that little stretch through your hip flexor. Then I want you to start driving that back leg down into the ground. Start to create that tension through your body. I'm doing that by holding my hands together nice and tight. Drive that back leg down as hard as you can. Start to shift forward. Push. You should really feel that. Hold it. 5. Push down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Relax. When you come back, when I say relax, just let all that tension go. Come back to the start. Tuck your pelvis again. Start to drive that foot down. Create that tension. Nice and strong. drive forward, push down hard with that back leg, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good, relax again. We got 2 more, guys. Again, drive that foot down, create that tension, tuck the pelvis, start to lean forward, push, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good, relax. And last one. Let's get ready to go. We're going to hold for slightly longer this time. So start to build up that tension, start to drive that back foot down into the ground, and let's go leaning into it, push down hard, create that tension, hold it, push, good, keep going, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whew. Good, shake it out if you need to.